Ah, my hearties, a very good evening. There we all are. How lovely is this? It's just me, Scottie McClue. Saturday night, just after 9 o'clock. I thought I'd pop up and just see who's about. Bit of a chat with you, all that sort of thing. So there you go. Anyway, what's happening with you? I say to you, there's Stumax has just joined us. Welcome, welcome, I say. Remember to tell us where you're watching from. Very important. And we're only with you until 10 o'clock. Now, I've got Jay there, I've got Alan, I've got Sarah, I've got Fuzzy. Numpty Heat is here. Numpty Heat says, you're in big trouble, Scottie. Why, what's wrong now, Numpty Heat? What have you been up to that I've got to get you out of? Some difficulty, no doubt. I'll tell you, there's Ali's joined us, Jan, Adele, fantastic. Welcome, welcome, guys. Lovely to have you with us. And hi from me, Scottie McClue, DINKY-DOO. Now, there we go. So, Numpty Heed, maybe you'll give us a wee call tonight and we can hear some of your chat. Good evening from Bowmore in Isla. This is the wonderful Ali McNeil. Good evening, Ali, to Bowmore in Isla. And I say, Tamraha Umaha Hakama, Falche Falche, Ki Milli Falche. Yes, indeed. Hi, Scottie. Hi, Susan. DINKY-DOO. Lovely to have you with us and a warm welcome. There we go. I just didn't get time to do a video tonight, guys. So it was just a bit of a warning. We're on in 5 minutes. Good, Scottie. DINKY-DOO. Curly. Wonderful. Good day, Scottie. Good day to you, Curly. Are you down under? Whiskey Festival in Isla this week? Ah, they'll not remember much about it, Ali. A Whiskey Festival in Isla, the home of great whiskey. I tell you. Hello, Scottie. I'm watching from east of Compton, near Bristol. Rocket Johnny, I'll talk a bit more like that if we're from Bristol. Hello from the west of Ireland, Scottie. Lovely to have you with us, Curly and DINKY-DOO. Dunoon, says Basbo. We love Dunoon. What a fabulous place. Guys, can you all hear me and see me properly? That's what I need to know. So there we go. Now, Ernie's just joined us as well. Lovely to have you with us. DINKY-DOO evening from Nairn. Nairn, the fastest town in Scotland. Nairn. We love it, Nairn. Beautiful, beautiful part of the world. I know it very well indeed. Dunoon, Australia. Oh, Dunoon, Australia. Over me by San Antonio, Texas. We love it. Hello from Dundee. Glad to see. It's Lash and Doon. Oh, Bucket and Doon, I tell you. What do you think about, I don't know what that is, cat's ass, so there you are. Thoughts on Sunderland? Yes, yes, fine part of the world. Scotland, DINKY-DOO, you're from Scotland. We like that. It's good to have the Scots with us as well, I always say. But we do love Easter Compton near Bristol. Bring back the radio show, Scottie. I know, Basbo. Everyone says that. Get the radio show back. Wonderful. And who knows? There's been some interesting developments just this week in radio, I tell you. So there we go. And lots of very good listening figures, I tell you. What did you look like when you were younger? Did you get any girls? Oh, for my goodness sake. Yes, well, I was an absolute gentleman, but the girls queued up. So there we go. I tell you, what did I look like when I was younger? Just the same as I do now. I took a slightly smaller hat size. Hello, Scottie and all. I was waiting on a different YouTube page. Topswahi, that's my fault. I could not get it started tonight. So with about 3 YouTube pages had popped up, so I do apologize. There we go. Professor Upton, Scottie, what do you think of the buses come 2 at once? I think it's terrible. Is it not always 2 buses at once in Edinburgh, Numpty? So there we go. Mr. Mann, we don't have views on football people and sports people, and we don't talk about others in that kind of way. Scotland forever, says Rocking. I tell you, Rocking Nino. Rocking Nino. Hi, it's Gordon here, by the way. Oliver's 5 on Monday. Gordon, that is amazing. And I saw your wonderful comment. Thank you for that. We'll see what gives there. Up the sea socks, up the old jocks, I tell you. So there we go. Very, very interesting news. And trust you to be spotting that. A very observant man. Guys, if you've just joined us, a very good evening. If you're wondering what's happening, you're watching Scottie McClue. Yes, the first lord of the internet, the world's top broadcaster, the world's most humble man. I tell you, I was waiting on the other YT page too, says Elise. Elise, I know, my fault, but I've sorted it. All these little challenges, and they always happen right at the start, at 9 o'clock, when you've only got seconds and the time ticks by. But what I realized is how to sort it, and that's always good. So we've got another solution. It happened last week too. So there we go. I tell you, Tony, I think we'll say cheerio to you. Actually, I don't think this is really the show for you. You'd be better maybe a show with some colouring in to do or something. I'm just thinking. So I think what we'll do, we'll say cheerio to Tony. There he goes. That's him. This is far too clever for you, Tony. There we go. And off he goes. Fantastic. That's it. Guys, if anyone makes silly comments, just pointless comments, or does any trolling, lifetime ban, I say to you. It never happened, says Tapswahi. Last week's chat didn't count because I wasn't there. No, I know what you mean, Tups, but it was an amazing night, and we were very, very busy on the phones. Scottie, how's it going tonight down the Dookers? The yacht race is here this weekend. Lovely to have you on the show, I say. That's Loch Fyne from Tarbert. Loch Fyne. We speak clearly in Tarbert, but we take our time as well. Fantastic. So there you go. Now, Tups, I hope we'll be hearing from you tonight because we'd like a bit of input just to see what is what. I don't think we'll go down the politics route because it's too dull and it's just complete nonsense. You know, if anything, you know, I think the politics are coming into, you know, they're not really worthy of our time on that at the moment. Too much nonsense. But our old friend stateside will sort it out. I tell you, I need my weekly therapy chat, Scottie. I'll try and get in the show when you open the lines. Well, Tups, what I'll do, I'll open the lines. I mean, you could come on now, but, you know, we'd better not stay on for the whole show, if you know what I mean. Although people do like it, I tell you. So there we go. Now then, who else have we got? Dinky-Doo from the West Riding of Yorkshire, Scottie. We like that. I tell you. We'll see who this is. You're live on Scotty's phone in. Who's that?
Oh, I'll take a wild guess, Scottie.
Oh, it's yourself, Tuts. There's a wee surprise.
I missed calling last week. I was at a Eurovision party.
Oh, a Eurovision party. I bet that went well.
Oh, the test Eurovision bar. I do really enjoy parties and drinking, so that's what took me away.
Fair enough. I understand. It was a bit of an excuse for a light refreshment.
I watched the show back. It was, you know, despite a significant element missing, I must confess, it was all right.
It was all right. Okay. There's Red Range. Red Range says, he says a sweary word, and then he says, Scottie, I haven't heard from you in years. How are you, my friend? I love this.
Well, there we go. Oh, by the way, while we're talking, and I promise you I'm not going to take up, you know, the huge amount of things.
You don't have to promise anything. If anything better comes in, I'll give you a shout.
Exactly. Just demote me from my present rank of lieutenant commander. Right? It's like you just tell me to drop and give you 50, right? And then kick me out. You know?
Absolutely.
Yes. There's stuff that I picked up from watching the stream last week. Now, You mentioned this sounds accusatory, by the way, as if you're in the witness box. No, not at all.
Not at all, not at all, my lord.
It was Kareem was talking about things breaking on cars.
Oh yes.
And you, sir, mentioned that a mechanic said, "What did you touch?"
Yeah, what did you touch? What have you touched?
Well, that's exactly the same with me. With me, it's usually.
Well, they know I've had a wee go at it myself to maybe avoid troubling them, you know.
Well, my thing's always been PCs. I've had computers for years and decades, and I always think that I can give it a go.
Yeah.
You know, a new graphics card, I can do that.
Yeah.
But I've realised that what I need to do is into the price of whatever I buy and get sent to me by an online retailer for me to install myself. I now have to build into the price the going to a PC shop and
getting the technical support, the helpline, all that. Oh, it's crazy stuff. I can remember my computer just kept shutting down. And it was brand new, and I'd splashed out. I had some pennies at that time, and I'd splashed out, and I'd got what we used to call the dogs, you know. And yeah, oh yes, and that was anyway. It just kept shutting down, and I thought, oh, this can't be right. So it was very frustrating because it would shut down in the days when you had to save your work. I think we've got auto save now, haven't we? But you had to stop and save. And I thought, no, this is just no good at all. So I phoned the guy, and then I heard him talking to his mate, and he goes, "A gentleman on the phone here, he says his computer's just shutting down." Shutting down? What's that? How can that be? He says it just shuts down. Oh, wait a wee minute. Is it? No, I'll tell you what he's got. His, what is it they called it? What happens when you go to sleep for a wee while? And you think, oh, hibernate. His hibernation will be on. And sure enough, it was. This thing was hibernating every 10 minutes. And I'd never heard of hibernation. You know, it's all these things. To me, cookies are filled with jam or chocolate, or you know what I mean?
Well, there's a term called percussive maintenance, where you hit something with a hammer, and that's more the way that I'm getting as I get older. You've actually reminded me of another old private investigator story. We got hired by a company. This is a long time ago now, but it was a worker for a company who had a company car. That's important, by the way. It's a company car.
Company car.
And they wanted them tracked. Now you wouldn't put a tracker on a private car. That would get you into trouble.
Right.
But the car was a company car, and then the guy was doing things that the company wasn't allowing. So the companies allowed us to put a tracker on. Now, this is old tech. This is at the mid-2000s. And what happened was, one of the guys, this is an ex-cop who knows his stuff, it was 5 a.m. he went into the car park. It was by a block of flats. And he went in to attach the tracker at 5 a.m. in the morning. But what happened was the engine bay, it was a Renault Scenic, I think it was, and the engine bay underneath was aluminium, so the magnetic tracker would stick. So this guy, as I say, an ex-cop, decided to take a director approach, and he punched a hole through the engine bay and put the tracker inside, right? This is underneath the car in a car park outside a block of flats at 5 a.m.
And is it still illegal to track a car to this day? Sorry to interrupt.
No, not at all. The legal position, certainly back in 2005, was unclear.
Right.
And our agency did not want to become the subject of a test case.
Well, because your problem is trackers are just a wee square wafer now, aren't they?
Yeah. This was because the biggest thing is a battery. People don't realise that a tracker needs a lot of battery power. Yeah. So this thing was the size of a brick, but he fitted it inside, and we were all there at 7 a.m. ready to go. As the standard surveillance period is 7 a.m. onwards. And so we were all there, and it was quite a big job. There was about 5 or 6 cars. And so we got over the radio. It was stand by, stand by, stand by. That's the thing. You know, that's self-evident. That's the guys start, and that's an off, off, off as the vehicle moves. And then that's a stop, stop, stop. You repeat certain things 3 times.
Yes,
so the stop, stop, and then it was, we're all waiting for what was going to happen, and then it was okay, and that's an off, off, off as he moves off again, and then that's a stop, 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 because you think the guy's going to get out of the car and do something. Then that's an off, 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 and then a stop, stop, stop again. It turns out what happened was the radio frequencies of the tracker were interfering with the electronic ignition of the car.
Oh, brilliant.
And then the guy looks under the bonnet of the car. I mean, oh my God, he's going to see the bug and it's going to be a disaster. Now, we weren't doing anything illegal because it was a company car and they said we could do it. I'm not sure the client actually said that we could punch a hole through the engine bay, but needs must for the double drive.
Crazy stuff, isn't it? Now, it's funny you saying this thing was the size of a brick. We were one of the first, when I was setting up a company, we were one of the first to have a mobile phone. I'd never personally had a mobile phone till well late on, 1998 or something, when my boss said, what's your mobile number? I said, what do you mean mobile number? And he said, I need to get a hold of you. So he ordered a phone there and then, and that was me with a mobile phone. But what we'd done in about 1989, we got a thing the size of a car battery with about a 2-inch strap on it. And you put it over your shoulder, and it had a proper receiver and curly cable. And there was only 2 of them.
One of them. Yeah.
Oh, and so we could really only keep in touch with each other. I don't think there was much else on the network. And this thing would ring, and then you could talk. And you thought, oh, this is absolutely incredible. He's got a phone on him. And then I remember one of the big radio bosses, he'd said, give me a call. So I gave him a call, and it was his secretary at the office. And she says, oh, he's actually got a phone in his car. And I said, wow. So that was that,
I'll give you a blast from the past, right? This is the late 70s. Now, my dad was not, he was not Donald Trump. He ran a 2-man outfit, small company in the shipbuilding industry.
Sensible man.
But he had aspirations, let's say. Now, this would be 1977, I think. There was a system called Air Call.
I remember it for the doctors used it for drivers and things. Was that right?
Exactly. Yes. And it was a radio-based system, and you would phone in with your call sign. My father's was Tartan 393, and from your car you would radio in, and an operator would relay the messages. This is 1977,
Fantastic.
So I think he was slightly ahead of the game in those days, but seriously, you would swear my father was a mover and shaker.
And things like telemessaging, like a late kind of telegram thing. We sent a telemessage. The only problem we had with communications then was the cost. I remember somebody wanting to phone one of the P&O liners, and he said, that'll cost an absolute fortune, all this sort of stuff. So it was just crazy stuff. So everything was the cost. And once the cost comes down, and of course the quality now of the equipment, I mean, chatting away to people on an app, to the other side of the world, and what we are doing right now, fabulous.
Well, it's remarkable. At the Eurovision party, my sister, her daughter, my niece, she's a flight attendant.
Yeah.
And she's getting married to a pilot. And the two of them were in Los Angeles, and we could do video calls directly to them at the party, and it's all included in the package that you pay. Now that is proper science fiction. Growing up in the 70s, that's science fiction. We don't have space cars and
just another world, isn't it?
But we've got that. At least that has lived up. As a child of the 70s, I would regularly read articles that said, by the year 2000, your granny will be going on holiday to the moon.
Yes, all that. Yeah.
People of my age have always got this feeling of slight disappointment with the way things have turned out.
I remember us touring the schools when I was a young actor. We're touring the schools with Space Odyssey 2000, and everybody thought this was just the future, you know.
Yeah, there is nothing as good as the vision of the future from the 70s. The only thing that, and it's quite a significant one, is that we haven't had a nuclear apocalypse yet, because that was built into pretty much everything.
Yeah, well, do be careful what you wish for, dear boy.
Absolutely.
You know, the crowd that are around at the moment, you know.
Yeah, I know.
We don't want to speak too soon. It's wonderful.
I've mentioned it before, but there's a comic character called Judge Dredd, written by a guy called John Wagner,
yes,
who was born in America but brought up in Greenwich, and he's got the perfect. It's the Glasgow cynicism, but the character of Judge Dredd, or the future history of Judge Dredd, has got a president, the last president of the United States, who is worryingly like the president.
Oh, fantastic. No, I mean, there's so many things, and also so many stories predicting stuff. I mean, George Orwell, you know, George Orwell, I mean, incredible. Eric Blair, and he was, I think, did he not write one of the ones from Jura? He had a house in Jura. And I went to visit a friend in Hare Myers Hospital, and there was a little plaque that said that, you know, Eric Blair had been in, I would think, with the tuberculosis the time or something like that, you know, because a lot of these, where you've got a hospital in a town, if you see an early photo of 100 years ago, that's out in a field.
I see Alice in the chat has just said, the greatest excitement on a Saturday night was all cramming into a phone box and ringing dial-a-disc. Yeah. And I can remember doing that. That's the days before itemized phone bills. I was in the teens, and the phone company ran it was like a party line that you could phone up, and it cost money every minute. But it was before itemized bills, and my mum and dad were away. And I had lots of friends over, and oh my goodness, it was the entire night. We ended up staying up all night and meeting these girls in Central Station at 7 o'clock in the morning. Oh, it was a disaster. But anyway, listen, I'll let you go.
No, but
so
listen,
you can deal with
lovely to hear you, and quality chat as always. You know, and there's just there's so much. It's very, very exciting. I mean, I'll not go into it, but it's been a you know, the place has been awash this week with news and movement and phone calls, and there's just so much happening, and I love it. And I got paid a compliment. Somebody said, Scottie, you've always been ahead of your time. And I think, well, my time must be coming at some point.
One of these days. Don't leave it too long, Scottie. All right. Well, listen, take care. It's lovely to speak to you again.
Top man. Thanks, Tops. Dinky-Doo.
Take care. Bye-bye.
What a fine fellow. Lovely caller as well. I mean, great fun. Now, you beautiful people, what's going on? Professor Numpty, phones are sounding braw, Scottie. Thanks, Numpty. You are a top man. I'll shut the windows in case Scottie starts, though. I don't want the neighbours disturbed, says Numpty Heed. The lovely Melinda Lemon has joined us. Hiya. Hi, Melinda. So lovely to have you with us. Melinda McNucketer here at the mouth of the Pascagoula. Pardon me. Greetings, Scottie and friends. Numpty Heed, remember the chat lines, 80 pence a minute. Elise says, Numpty, we need you on again. I so enjoy your brilliance. How you say so much when not saying too much. Yeah, I need to take a lesson from Numpty. Yes, how to not say anything but say everything. The greatest excitement on a Saturday night was all cramming into a phone box and ringing dial-a-disc. Does anybody remember a trunks call? Right? A trunk call. And what you did, you went in, there was no dial on the phone in some phone boxes. And you picked it up and it went beep, beep, beep. And then you go, operator, good evening. You know, I said, operator, could I have a reverse charge call, or could I have a paid call, a trunks, please? Oh, trunks, please. That was it. Trunks ringing for you. And the rest of it, could I have a trunks call to such and such a place? Yes. Could you put 1 and threepence in the box, please? Yes. There's the shilling. 1 and 1, 2, 3. Thank you. Connecting you now. I tell you. Susan says, Scottie and Tutser, hey, good chat as usual. Remember reversing the charges, says Amy. Yes. And you hoped your mum and dad would say yes. Would you take a reverse charge call from the memorial baths or something like that? Hello? Hello? What are you doing reversing the charges? Where are you? Oh, my bicycle chain's come off. So there we are. Can I have a Trump skull, please? Says Elise. Oh, wow. Elise, if you could ask the Don anything, what sort of things would you ask him? If I could connect you directly to Donald Trump right now, what would you say to him? So there we are. There's a Poopy Charté who says, does the carpet match the drapes? How very interesting. So there we are. So if you had a Trump's call, so yes, you'd go in and you would say, operator, you go, Trumps, please. Where are you reading that? Says Don. Oh, I've got lots of stuff here, Don. There's just input here all the time. Reverse charge, absolutely. I'd be speechless if you connected me with the Don. At least why? The guy's an amazing communicator. I don't know how familiar you are with the Don, but he is just the world's finest communicator. And if you were a little bit speechless or nervous, you go, yeah, you take your time, Elise. You know? Hello, McClue. Can I just say thank you for your show tonight? Gordon Stirling, you can, but how lovely of you to say that. Come on, Aberdeen, says your sugar daddy. I tell you, loved him for over 40 years. Wow, Elise. Do you remember him as a young man? He used to be on British television chat shows. I think Wogan interviewed Donald Trump. I tell you. So there we are. No, I don't think you'd be speechless at all. I think you would there would be an absolute torrent of chat between you and the Don. Especially if you've followed him for 40 years, you'll have so much to talk about, I tell you. Trump has little small feet, says John Doe. How do you know that, John Doe? There's Gordon says, hey, Sterling, out the car, remember? Meaning if you could get him on the line. That's what I'm saying, Elise. We'll get him on the line. If this show goes as big as it should do, then, we could maybe put a call through to the White House and say, it's Scottie McClue from the UK. Could we ask Don some questions, and say, can he maybe throw out some of the duffer branches of the press that get in to argue the toss with his press secretary and take Scottie McClue instead? Take a question from Elise. So you've got the press secretary, and then instead of going, yeah, I'll take your call on that, she goes, now then, call from the UK from Elise. Yeah, what do you want to ask the president? So there we go. Any conserve on the toast this morning, meat? Hasenberg, I'll tell you what I did have yesterday. A blackberry. You can have a blackberry. I tell you, very nice. And a latest thing, has anybody ever tried this one? Avocado on toast. Anybody tried that? Let's see if we've got any takers for avocado on toast. Numpty, is it not time you were dialing the number? 01416289795. I think it is. That's just fantastic. A blackberry. Yes. Very beautiful. And I'll tell you what else I had for breakfast this morning. Watermelon. Red watermelon for breakfast this morning. Anybody ever had pomegranate seeds? Anybody had cashew nuts? You see? It's just a wee change from porridge and all that. And Sandberg says, had avocado on toast, mate? I'll just stick to the jam. Avocado's just woke. No sense, if you ask me. Now, avocado is actually loaded with goodies, I've been told. If anybody knows, do tell us. As long as it was low carb, high seeded toast. Aha! Elise, I get you. I'll tell you what I did have this week, Elise. I had wheatless bread. I doubt I'll have it again because it was a wee bit tasteless. Bread made without wheat. I had avocado and poached egg on toast for breakfast. Delicious. Jono, stop. You're putting me in the mood for avocado and poached egg on toast. I tell you, a lot of watermelon here in the deep south. Melinda, do you speak with a southern drawl? Do you take your time speaking, honey? I tell you, honey child, that's my Melinda. Yes, sir. Fantastic. Why don't you give us a call, Melinda, and then we can hear your beautiful voice. I used to love putting 2 digested biscuits together with jam and butter in the middle of them. Great wee snacks. Anyone do that? Amy, that's very posh. That's posh stuff because you were putting jam and butter. I used to work with an old Geordie boy, and he said, my grandmother, there were no money about in them days, eh? And my grandmother, she'd have either butter or she'd have jam, but she'd never have the two of them. Too expensive, too much of a waste. I'm trying to avoid pasta, says Gordon. I'm worried about my carbonara footprint. You haven't lost your sense of humor, Gordon Sterling. That is brilliant, your carbonara footprint. I might with you, but no, I'm educated, says Melinda. Oh, Melinda. But if it was just you and I, would you do a slow drawl, honey? I tell you, there, of course you're educated. Amy says, maybe I'm posh. I drank at Ashton Lane once. Now that's posh. That is posh. I tell you, did you have your pinky out when you were tipping your pint back? Oh, there were some great places up the West End. Let's go up the West End and get a drink. That was the stuff. Remember that? Gordon Sterling, says Elise. Sinane Chuma. Pomegranate. Yes, pomegranate seeds. Anybody else like double cream? It's me. Dinky-Doo. Yes, indeed. Yep, the Park Bar. Oh, very nice, the Park Bar. And I'll tell you what you get in the Park Bar. You'll get a Scottish band or a Scottish tune going. And you maybe get the girls in at the girls' duck having a good old crack with each other. Come on, sure. Prawns with grits and a slow drawl. Melinda, stop. A little bit lemon with the prawns. Yes, a little bit lemon with the prawns. I tell you. So there we go. We love it. Now, what have we got? But the thing is, it's interesting, Melinda, when you're saying, yeah, I'm educated. Surely there must be quite a lot of slow drawls in the deep south. Yes, ma'am. Scottie, any idea of the Celtic score? So there we are. Don't know, Johnny. Johnny. Listen, if you knew nothing about football, I would know less. So come on. Cost me a fortune, Ashton Lane. Very nice, Amy. Very nice. Yes, get yourself up. Occasionally, it's good to fork out. I can remember I was down in London for a meeting, and I was on my way back to the station for the train, and I took a refreshment in those days. So I thought I'll just pop in and have a quick pint before I get in the train. 10 quid. And this was about 1997 or something. 10 quid. Your money just disappeared in London. Taxi. I had to say to the taxi driver, listen, if you want to stop anywhere now, because that's me out of cash. And being a London cabbie, here's what he did. He went, no, you're all right, mate. Yeah, I'll settle for that. 20 quid. You know, now I'll take you up now. Surrounded by the drawl and poor English usage. Aha, Melinda. So are you originally of English stock, Melinda? Or have you always been of the deep south? Yes, ma'am. There we go. Gordon says, Agnes made me some charred leeks with vinaigrette tonight before we try for a baby. Wow, Gordon, I tell you. You know, I can remember my missus making me some charred stuff, but I don't think it was meant to be charred. I think that was an accident. My mother, no, it was my mother. My mother was an outstanding cook, beautiful, beautiful cook. But occasionally she'd forget about something in the oven and it was burnt to a crisp. And she'd take it out and she would say to me, I'm sorry that got a wee bit dried up. Edinburgh during the festival, says Amy. There we are. I'm Scottish Manukator. How lovely, Melinda. We love that. It's wonderful. But you'll need to give us a call and let's hear your beautiful, educated, deep southern, non-drawly voice. But you can do the drawl if needs be. Yes, yes. Good luck, Gordon, says Zinane Chuma. Zinane, am I pronouncing your wonderful name properly? I'll tell you. So good luck, Gordon. Yes, if you're trying for a baby, that's amazing. So wonderful stuff, and good luck to you and Agnes. I tell you. Now, what else have we got here? Hey, says Carrie. Hey, Carrie, DINKY-DOO. If you've just joined us, folks, you're watching Scottie McClue, First Lord of the Internet, the world's top broadcaster, the world's most humble man. Very important to get that in because people think when you're telling them you're the world's top broadcaster, they think that you're maybe blowing your trumpet, you know. And of course, I would never, ever do that. 2 billion people know Scottie McClue. And one of my claims to fame was this was the boss telling me, I turned a £500,000 project into a £28 million success story. So there we are. So I like to tell that, but I don't like to blow my trumpet, as they say. I leave that to other people. A McNucketer. Oh, you're a McNucketer. Oh, I see. Oh, I thought you'd said you were a man-nucketer. And I thought that was a sort of, a social position. But no, you're a McNucketer. A McNucketer or a McNaughton, maybe, Melinda. So you've got Scottish blood in you. How lovely. Are you a fisherman, Scottish Liam? Never fished in my life. So there we go. Mon the Dons. Poopy Sharty's sending a message to her daddy. And she says to him, what's your daddy's first name, Poopy? She says, I'm sorry, Daddy, please forgive me. Stop the silent treatment, please. So hope your daddy gets that. Give us a first name. Mon the Dons. I fit like a Don's there. Plain bra. Fantastic. Agnes is 68, so it will be a miracle baby. Well, Gordon, things have happened. I mean, Mary, it was a virgin birth. So there wasn't any need for char-grilled, what was it you had? Char-grilled leeks with vinaigrette. That was just a straight deal with God. It's the trying that counts, says Tupser Hay. So there you go. And I'll tell you, I mean, if Agnes is a spry 68, and if you and her are trying for a baby, there's every chance she is, you know, and that might be the one. I heard about an old boy that went into the chemist, and the chemist said, "Yes, can I help you?" He said, "Tell me, do you have corn plasters?" He said, "Yes, we do." "Yes. And do you have zinc and castor oil cream?" He said, "Yes, we do." "And do you have talcum powder?" I said, "Yes, we do." He said, what is it you're wanting all this for?" He said, No, I'm getting married and I'm in my 90s, and so is my missus. I wondered if you could maybe do the wedding list. Sorry about that. I told that yesterday. Said, oh, it's not even worth telling that. You blow your trumpet, Scottie, as loud as ever. Deborah, what a lovely, lovely thing to say. Deborah's Gen X. Highlander, yes, indeed, sparkling water, Dinky-Doo. I tell you. Scottie, please can you say a big hello to Kate? She's coming to visit next week, and we're going to have great fun a few days together. Wow. So Elise has got a friend, or maybe it's a relative, I don't know. But Kate is coming next week. Does everybody know that? Kate's coming to see Elise. And, now see what you've done. Hang on. Hello, you're live on Scottie's Phone In. Who's that?
Hello, Scottie. I'm phoning about the accident that you're going to have.
Oh, Numpty, yes, absolutely. Yes.
The accident that you're going to have this morning.
Would you be able to handle that for me and take all the details?
Well, let's deal with it now.
And maybe get me a huge settlement.
They're on the phone in 2 minutes, you know, these people.
It's quite funny. You know, I see when I got one of these calls one day, and she said it's about the accident, you know, and I knew it was just a try on, you know, but I was going, I said, thank goodness you phoned. Yes, indeed. Oh, this is great. And then I started asking her about it. I said, now tell us where you're up to. What details have you got in front of you? Well, if you like to tell me where, I said, no, please, I don't want to go repeating myself. So if you can tell me where you're up to with it all.
Indeed. Well, Scottie, I once got the phone call about the accident that I had. And I says, how did you hear about that? That was in 1945. They says, what were you driving, a horse and cart? I says, you're up to date.
Can I tell you a lovely story? And this is Jen up. I had a friend, and their father or their grandfather had been in the First World War, and he was a farmer, and this was just about the 1920s, maybe. Anyway, they went to market and sold a bull and made an absolute fortune. They then got a load of grain to take back to the farm with their money and stacked all the sacks on the back of the cart. Then they got up and up Dobbin, and off they went. And they were absolutely fleeing, the pair of them. And they were smoking. And they were chucking their fag ends backwards, and they landed in the sacks of grain. And there was a conflagration going on behind them that they didn't know about. All this smoke was billowing out the sack, and they passed a policeman on his bike, and he couldn't actually catch them on the bike, but he made a phone call at the next village to the police, and they stopped them, and they fined them £1 for having an unsafe load, although the fact they were fleeing didn't come into it.
Anyway, Scottie.
Sorry, I thought you'd like to hear that. You know, I haven't told that story for 40 years. And I thought, I was waiting for the right person to come along. You know?
Aye. Well, eventually, we're like buses, we'll come along pairs. Anyway, Scottie, you listen to me.
Right. Always.
Now, where was that? Why, Scottie, have you ever heard that saying, you should never shout fire in a theatre?
Oh, well, yes, and I know why.
Why? Tell me.
Because somebody shouted fire, thinking it'd be funny. It caused a stampede, and one wee boy ran out straight under a bus.
Oh, wait a minute. You tell me this is a true story.
This is a true story, yeah. And there's
Well, that
another
was-
story I won't go into, because if you're telling me a light-hearted story, but there was a huge tragedy in a Scottish town with, it wasn't a theatre, I think it was the cinema, and people lost their lives. Crazy stuff. But yeah, you never shout fire, because in the theatre has a recognised code. I might not just give it away, but it's so that the audience don't panic. And if it's, they know that the fire's under control, but they want to evacuate the theatre organist or pianist or repetitor will play something nice and slow, like the Teddy Bear's Picnic. So people don't panic.
Right, I see.
And the manager would then come on and say, ladies and gentlemen, there's a fire in the theatre. Would you all please calmly make your way to the exits and point them out?
And what if the manager's on his lunch break? Do they just sit and wait till he comes back?
Theatre manager, believe it or not, is never really far from, there's no show without punch. Because I've done my theatre management bit at a very important theatre, and one of the actors took ill one night, and my boss shouted, he went, can you go on and tell them what's happening?
Aye. Now, Scotty, the reason I was asking why you should never shout a fire in a theatre, which you explained immaculately, but, you know, you came what you're like, you never let me finish.
Sorry, no, please finish.
I was going to add, is it the same for a fire alarm? Should you know set the fire alarm off in a theatre? Do you just not tell them?
There should never be anything like that. But I mean, theatres traditionally have had outbreaks of fires, because not only did you have, they were lit by candles and then later gaslight, but there was all sorts of dramatic explosions and fire and stuff on the stage in the acts. And if you think about it, the theatre's covered in wood and fabric.
And everybody would have been smoking their cigarettes
and
their cigars.
Smoking away. I can remember being in the pictures. You might be too young. And everybody was smoking in the pictures. There was an ashtray on every seat in front of you.
Aye, that's right, Scotty. And came what else?
And folk would flick their lighter and it would come up, and you would see the couple winching beside you.
And came what else they used to show you just before the picture started? If you smoked, could you please move to the left?
Oh, that's posh. No, we never had that.
Aye, oh well.
We never had that. But
you remember getting into a jam jar,
the jam jar to get into the pictures, of course. And they used to go through. A wee one would go in and let his friends in the side door.
Now, Scotty, listen, you know me, Professor status, you know.
Prof, big stuff.
Would you like me to teach you some maths?
Oh, I'd like you to teach me anything.
How long would it take you to tell me if you were to add up every number, like 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4, all the way up to 100, right?
Yes.
How long would it take you to get the answer?
If you're adding all the way up to 100, is the answer not 100?
No, 1 plus 2 would be 3.
Oh, I see where you're going. Yes.
And then
3
would be 6.
And then you would add the 4 on to the 3.
Aye. How long would it take you to give me the right answer?
2 years.
Well, listen, I could give you the right answer now if you want.
Go on.
5050, Scotty. How did I ken that?
Because you're a genius.
Well, what I did, there's a formula, Scotty, right? Take the first number and the last number, which is number 1 and number 100.
Right.
Add them together. What do you get?
101.
Do the same with the second number and the second last number. What do you get?
101.
Do the same with the third number and the third last number.
101.
What do you get? So can you see a pattern?
Of course I can, dear, yes. Fantastic.
So now, listen, there's 50 calculations. So basically 50 times 101 gives you 5050. And that is the same answer as what you would get if you added all the wee numbers up to 100 together.
That's beautiful, that is.
Now, does that not deserve a round of applause?
Oh, you deserve the clap. There's no doubt
The
about it.
clap.
You
Give me
deserve the clap.
Scotty.
I'll give you the
First
clap, my
time.
boy. That's fantastic. Oh,
That's
yes.
the first time ever you gave me the clap.
That
Scotty,
is.
in
That's
30
it.
years.
Yes. And it might be the last. Who knows?
First time for everything. Now, listen, you were talking about breadcrumbs, I think, earlier on.
Oh, we're talking about all sorts of. Just give us a wee second here, Numpty. McClue, can you do the weather forecast in Gaelic to get Agnes's juices flowing, please? I
dear.
tell you.
Just tell her it's going to be wet.
Wet, yes, that's right. It'll be wet. Absolutely, the forecast wet and windy.
Right.
Right.
Now, listen, the breadcrumbs.
Yes, breadcrumbs.
Well, Dino used to love the breadcrumbs,
Oh,
especially
yes.
the ones that fell off the piece.
Yes, just waiting
He
for
used to
them.
hoover them up. He used to clean up the breadcrumbs.
Oh, there's never a mess on the floor with food with dogs.
Indeed, indeed. Yeah, right. Listen, Scotty, if I was to tell you, right, if I was to say I was in the jail for the right reasons or I was in the jail for the wrong reasons,
Yes.
which statement would you prefer?
You were in the jail for the right reason. It depends on who is judging the right reasons. So say, for instance, you were a devout religious person and
Aye.
somebody had denigrated your beliefs and you'd given them a leathering or something, right? Now, obviously, you'd be done for assault. You'd be put in the slammer. But there would be people that said, aye, but you shouldn't be in there because you did it for the right reasons.
Right.
You
Now,
see?
listen, what if I was a visitor?
Well, I was just going to say that as well, because there is such a position as the Board of Visitors. And you're not talking, you're talking some very switched on people that go visiting because they know how distressing the nick is for a lot of people and they don't know what they're going to meet. So it's not a question of coming in to see you in the slam and hello, Numpty, how you doing? I brought you some oranges and oh, Scotty, that's great. You might be on an absolute downer, or somebody might have given you a shiner, or you might think, I'm thinking I don't want to go on, and I sit with you. You know what I mean? So it requires a lot of skill for prison visiting.
Well, listen, can I just clear one thing up, Scotty?
You can clear anything up.
The prison uniform would suit you more than it would me. So
Oh,
it'd be me bringing in the oranges. Hello, Scotty, I brought you some oranges.
Well, what uniform, you see, again? I might be the governor.
You might be the cleaner.
Somebody say, I saw him going home the other night with his prison clothes on. You say, oh, yes, he's the governor.
You should have phoned and gone taken back. But listen, Scotty, are you listening to me, Scotty?
Of course I'm listening to you. Why would anyone ever not listen to you?
No, I've had my windows shut because in case you start, you came with your light.
In case we start, I know.
Right. Now, there's only 2 minutes before you go, but you were 5 minutes late, Scotty.
No, I wasn't 5. I was 3, I think, was I not? And I found out what it was. I just couldn't get it started.
Aye. We were on a different YouTube page, yapping away.
Well, no, I'm not. That was my fault. I had to keep putting a new page up. And then what happened was I thought, aha. And what I did was it had minimized a bit. So I maximized and I could see my start button.
Yeah, right. Oh, Scotty, you'll never guess. Well, I've just realised if we're going to get booze in the night and it's 2 minutes to go before the shop's shut.
You can you go in cold turkey.
Oh, I'll have to go another night without the booze. Well,
have you not got a wee bottle of your home brew?
No, Scott, I can't have drink news because it always ends up as
getting eaten up.
As an empty bottle, if you know what I mean.
Lovely to hear you, and Dinky-Doo.
Yes. Right, away you go and stop talking nonsense.
I've never heard so much nonsense in all my life. Right, there we go, I tell you. Now, who else have we got here? I think the statue behind Scotty is the Pegasus symbol, British Parachute Regiment. Topsy, hey, you're 100% correct. My father was a para, and that is Pegasus. To mount to heaven on Pegasus must ride. We are out of time, my beautiful people. That was an umpty heed on. Absolutely. Barbecue or salad, says John Doe. I'm not so sure now. Barbecue or salad? I'm not really a great salad man because I've got no appendix, and I think the appendix is to do with that. Great call, says Tutsra Hay. Good night, Scotty, and also Susan. Night, night, Susan. Thanks for the show, Scotty. Great chat from all. Bless you, Tops. Melinda, I love you all. Good night. Sleep tight. Don't let the bed bugs bite. Wonderful show. Something I so look forward to, Scotty and Melinda. We look forward to seeing you on the show because you are family now, my darling. Don't you worry about a thing, honey child. I love you. Right, we're just saying bye-bye to our beautiful, beautiful TikTokers. They've had to go. And to our beautiful YouTubers, we're going to have to go as well, I tell you. Thank you, Scotty. Sweet dreams. Thank you, Tsanine Chuma. Good night, Melinda says. Susan, good night, everybody. I'll sing you the goodbye song. Right, here we'll join in after 3. 3. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye. Take care, everybody, as you go. Goodbye, everybody. Auf Wiedersehen. Au revoir. And cheerio. Love you. Night, night, my darlings. Try and join us next week. If you're not here tonight, somebody will tell you all about it. See ya.